Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah.
A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to HJN and Flying with the Phone. And now for today's topic here on HJN as a whole, let me just say that this blaster is literally heavy. Heavy to handle, and yeah. So here it is. Another rival blaster, and honestly this one certainly does try to do a lot with imitating some of its other predecessors and counterparts from some of the other, well, rival series that we have so far. This is the rival Phantom Corps Hera. Hera, of course, is one of the many gods in Greek mythology centered around the Mount Olympus area. And of course, the mythology that surrounds most of these famous mythological figures throughout history are certainly some pretty nice stories. But in the case of Hera, oh man, I don't really know too much about this mythological figure as opposed to most others like Poseidon or Zeus or some others here and there. Hera, of course, I feel like that the namesake of this blaster itself and the point at which that it originated from probably may not have been the greatest call in many points, but honestly, I don't really know if I go any deeper into it because my knowledge about Hera as a whole seems low for right now. But of course my knowledge based on Rivals blasters and Nerf and Hasbro as a whole are certainly sky high, so I might as well get going on with that. This is another motorized blaster, so of course let's get the obligatory piece of the motorized action out of the way. That's that. So, of course, I will say that just like when I talked about the Helios and some other blasters from the Rival series that are clip or magazine fed, this one has a 7-rounder, which I just simply put into the blaster like that. And then, of course, to fire, all it takes is, well, just to pull down to the motorized trigger and then the first trigger to fire. Now the mag itself is empty. So that's pretty much that. The blaster itself can accept all sorts of Rivals-based magazines, whether it be the 7-rounder or the 12-rounder or the canceled drum mag. I mean, if Rivals actually started doing some more attention to their own work, maybe they could actually get that drum mag released. I mean, I really want a Rivals drum mag in my collection. I just have no idea how they couldn't do anything like that. Well, anyways, this takes C batteries. Yeah. Pair that up with some other blasters out there, like the more recent Moto Strike and several others down the line. So of course it may not be like the Stampede or Vulcan or some other older blasters specifically that take large D batteries. The C cell batteries of course are located right here in the stock, so in terms of stability and balance, I'd say it's questionable pretty much, because you never really know. You probably can't feel a lot of top heaviness back here because of how the compartment sits way in the back of the stock, so you'd probably have to rely on your hand grip to maybe have it pointed down a little bit forward so this way it can help stabilize itself, like so. But then of course you're also going to want to know about the jam door itself. This is of course the jam door, and it's a pretty big one too. Kind of a generous space for something as simple as a method of clearing out any jams. But of course, in order to open this up, you have to have this little switch put back. And it usually gets a little difficult every now and then just to try and get this thing to pull back and then get it to pull up because, of course, because of how it's not very rigid or sticky or concave as much, the switch itself Because of the fact that you have to pull it open after you pull back the switch, it can, in fact, be a little bit difficult. But if you really practice at it, get a good grip on it if you can, with fingers of this size, it can be pretty hard to do, but when you get the feel for it, it probably should be fine. Then, of course, there is the kill switch, which is located conveniently under the first trigger. You pull it back, and just like that, you get no running motor. So this way, it will help to avoid any battery energy loss in a way. You might not want to kill your batteries at some point, but of course, it's very convenient to have a kill switch. So this way you don't have to worry about any energy being drained out by mistake. So of course, the Hera itself, I have mentioned that it does tend to rip off a few others, and I can pretty much see why. It's another Phantom Corps entry, so of course the appearance of this vaguely similar to that of some others from its own brethren in the Phantom Corps series, like the Apollo and the Helios. So of course, I mean, the shape of it, for the most part, is very similar, except for this large piece that comes down from the back end of the stock and then meets up with the bottom part of the foregrip. So of course, it's not necessarily a button that is used for releasing the mag because of this giant piece, but it is instead a little switch that allows for an easy removing of the magazine itself. So of course, that's pretty much the Hera as a whole. But let me just say that there are a lot of Rivals blasters that have not been talked about yet, and I will very much like to get to them at some point later on. But until that happens, and until a lot of stuff happens as a matter of fact, if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.